Hello, this is Dinah Lane with Channel 18. It's so nice to be here. Today, I am with people from the Chase Library, which is really a great library in Harwich, as you all know. And I just wanted to check in with them about the things they've been doing this summer and all the things that they plan for the future. So I'm here with Claire Gradone, who is the executive director. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
And I'm also here with Patti Tworek, who is the president of the board. And they both, of course, are very involved in everything that goes on there. So Patti, I understand you would like to tell us first about a very special award that the Chase Library received.
I would. Chase Library last January submitted an application for a competitive matching grant to the 1772 Foundation and Preservation Massachusetts. So in April, we received word that we had been selected to receive one of the matching grants, which is a pretty big deal for us because that's statewide recognition. So our grant provided funds, which we matched in order to have the exterior of our library scraped, painted, some minor repairs done to shingles and some rotting boards. And so the whole exterior of the library and the trim was painted. And we also are having our dormer window, which is up really high and we know has one broken pane of glass, evaluated and then repaired. So that's a really big deal. And we were thrilled to get that.
That's
we
wonderful.
At town meeting received a community preservation Act grant. So our 110-year-old original door will be restored and repaired and set so that it will be preserved for many years forward. That will happen either this fall or early next spring, depend on the preservationists' workload. And we're really pleased with that.
That's great. So you're putting a new face on things.
Absolutely. And our door won't sag anymore. It won't be like swelling in the summer and sticking in the winter and all sorts of
That's
things.
great.
So we're very happy with that. And part of the problem with the door listing was the book drop that was on the back of the door. So we have been able to reach a goal of purchasing a freestanding exterior book drop, which will help with the door, but it will also help us and has already helped us in this era of COVID-19 because people can slide their books in the book drop and then we take them out once and get them into quarantine.
Okay.
So we've had some really good things happening.
It certainly sounds that way. So Claire, can you talk a little bit about what the process is for people to check books out these days? How did it go this summer and how's it going now? And what's your expectation for the future?
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, the library was closed due to COVID from March 15th to July 7th. But on July 7th, we got going. We ordered a lot of new books and we started curbside pickup. Unfortunately, our space is too small to allow patrons to come in to browse right now. So we're trying to do our best to provide service to our patrons with curbside pickup. We're open Tuesdays from 10 to 12 and Saturdays also from 10 to 12. And we suggest that people check our website, which is chase.library.com. And check out the new books that we have purchased. They are listed on our website. We also have more books than that. We suggest that people call us or email us at chaselibrary, capital W, capital H, @gmail.com, request their books. We'll pack them up for them, select books for them. If they just want a couple of good mysteries, we'd be glad to do that for them and put them out on the front porch for pickup. But our times open are limited. They're Tuesday and Saturday from 10 to 12. So I would suggest that people get their book orders in We have waiting lists, but they're not as long as clamps. So if you're looking for something, check with us, please, because we're likely to have the book available for you. We also just want to thank our patrons. It was a long stretch that we were closed, and now that we're open, they can't come into the library. So we really do thank them for their patience, but we do have to keep the library providing service under COVID restrictions. So we're doing the best that we can, and we're glad to see our patrons, even if it's just waving through the screen door. It looks at this point like we will probably continue curbside through the winter, depending, of course, on the COVID activities on the Cape. So that's kind of what we're planning.
Okay. I know that people are often interested and sometimes concerned about how the books are actually kept clean. And Patty, I think you were going to say a little bit about that process.
Yes. So when we first began and reopened in July, the prevailing wisdom at the time was to quarantine books for 3 days. The scientists did a test. They took a single book copy, they sprayed it with COVID, and then they let it sit there and they waited. And after 72 hours, it appeared to have dissipated. But libraries don't put a single book on a shelf for quarantining. We don't have that kind of room. We stack the books. So this same group did a second test run with stacked books, and they early September they came out with a new study that said that even after 6 days, books that were stacked in a quarantine area still had evidence of the COVID virus. So they suggested that quarantine last a minimum of 7 full days. In the case of Chase Library, if you drop your book off on a Tuesday and we put it in quarantine at noon on Tuesday, we don't take it out on the following Tuesday. We take it out the Saturday after that. So in Chase's world, the quarantine period is really 10 days. And while it's a little problematic for patrons who want to get their hands on the latest and greatest book, all of our patrons are fairly elderly or getting there, and all of our volunteers are as well. So erring on the side of caution is where we have decided to be. So I know it's a long wait, but that's how it has to be right now.
Yes, yes, and it is, of course, very important to err on the side of caution. I thought you were going to say, because most of your patrons are elderly and the volunteers are, you have learned the art of patience. Clearly, this requires on everybody's part.
How true, Dinah, how true.
So in any case, it sounds like you're being very careful and people have nothing to fear and a lot to enjoy and gain by getting in touch with you. And I know you've always had such personalized service that I know you'll continue with that even in the current circumstances. So Claire, finally, I'd like to just talk a little bit about what winter activities you may have. I know you've often had book talks and other things going on at the library, and I'm sure people will be interested to know if there's any way that they can access such things this year.
Well, obviously, COVID has limited what we can do. We can't do any, great luncheons in restaurants or even have programs in the library. But we do intend to do 3 Zoom programs, one in January, one in February, and one in March. We're hoping to get some local authors, but with Zoom, we're not even limited to local authors. So we're exploring getting some authors and also doing some different programs like a gardening program or scrapbooking or something like that that we could do via Zoom. So I'm taking suggestions from my volunteers and anybody else that has a great suggestion for a program, and we will have our schedule published by mid-November.
Great, and that will appear on your website as well as Facebook?
That will appear both on website and Facebook.
Okay, well, it sounds like people can access you quite easily. And as you say, you don't have to limit yourself to local authors, nor does the audience need to be local, which is really great. So
That's
people who
true.
may not be in Harwich in the winter can still get a touch of what you're doing here at Chase, which is great.
Absolutely. And we also don't need to stick to the library open schedule. So we will
That's right.
probably be offering some evening programs too.
Excellent, excellent. So something for everyone, I'm sure. So thanks again so much for joining me in this format.
Thank you.
And I really look forward to some of the things you have going on this year. Again, this is Dinah Lane for Channel 18. Thanks so much.